That's right. We're going to learn how to play pinball this morning.
Here's the deal. So you
Okay.
put the ball in play. Usually, this is how you play pinball. It's a plunger or a button, and you can use center button on newer games. And then there are these two buttons on the side, and you hit them, and then these things like move up and hit the ball. Spoiler alert, I mean, that's what I'm covering in my 1 hour talk today. I'll talk a lot slower for that, but I just wanted to kind of...
Well, that's the cliff notes.
That's
I mean, that's how you play pinball.
Yeah.
Get one
And like,
more
you don't
point
push the ball.
higher.
That's the thing. I'll talk about that. Do you know what's not your friend? The sides, when it goes outside to the middle, right?
Yeah.
So some people don't know that, and that's what I'm here for, these video gamers, and, you know, plus sometimes I need to remind myself.
Yeah, exactly. A good refresher.
Basics.
And
sometimes I'm up there, it's like, why isn't the ball coming out, you know? But, hi, bye.
hit start button, plunge.
See,
don't drain.
I missed that. I missed that. See, that's why I have the
start button,
7-page notes.
Top of the list.
That's page 3.
Okay.
Yeah, because you also have to be sure you're standing at the machine, not away. Anyway,
yeah.
I'm a professional.
Good
you know,
hint.
I've won tournaments, and
yeah.
all 2 people in there right now. We still got 20 minutes.
Yeah, we got some
They're in
time.
for a treat.
I want to get some money. I don't know which game will bring to poster yet.
Today, take the glass off. It's not so I can cheat to get high scores. That is the easiest way to get a high score. But to cheat, to kind of feed the balls to my flippers in certain ways to demonstrate all the skills that I'll be demonstrating today. But we'll be covering a lot today. There's so many things we've always asked at these seminars. I've been doing since 2008 in California Extreme and other places. And for example, just how to save the ball. And then also some specific things about strategies and other skills are just gaming. But how to save the ball, keep it from going down the middle. Short answer, spoiler alert, yeah, it can. Or at least not always. But there are some ways to address that. But anyway, we'll start in just a moment. And I'm excited that you're here. Where are you all from? Is someone here from out of state? Out of state, California. I know those guys in Colorado. Where are you from? States, yeah. Hall of Fame. What?
Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson and... Okay, you win. You absolutely win. You know, you crossed the ocean to be here, but everyone else too. I appreciate the effort. I'm from San Francisco. And yeah, thanks for coming. I just wanted something like, how many of you would say, like, with show hands, like you're just a beginner? Come on, you're just getting started. And I'll be covering everything. I'm going to be covering some very serious things and also just the basics. The nice thing about pinball is you can enjoy it at any level, especially here. There's so many choices. I'm sure you'll find a new favorite game here while you're here if you're a beginner. And somebody expert playing. If you're acquainted or acquainted with one you've never seen before. Hey, you got the keys, huh?
Yeah. It's only holding down.
You know what? Yeah, we probably don't need it. Thank you. No. Yeah, we don't need it at all.
Yeah. I don't know if it's sound. Is this something wrong? I put the mic on.
Hi, guys.
No, this sounds not on.
No, yeah.
No, sorry.
Wait, your mic's here. Just are they doing anything?
No, they don't.
They're just part of your
Yeah,
rig.
yeah. I turned it off, but there was no sound.
Hello, this is Andrei. I can yell if you need me to. My voice will be gone by the no. Yeah. Before we get started, just get that in order. I'm going to just introduce myself. My name is Andrei Massenkoff. Won the World Championships 2011 from San Francisco, and also a San Francisco City Champion 4 times. This is actually my trophy for one of those. Yeah, the place for the San Francisco League and City Championships used to be. It's also a print shop, so that works out nice. But yeah, I'm also a school teacher, so I'm used to kind of talking to people about things, much younger people than you all. Here's students that are here. Okay, this is really interesting. But there is a charity called they put pinball machines in children's hospitals. I'm actually a school teacher in a children's hospital, And when we moved to our new children's hospital, 2015, very soon after, Project Pinball put a Stern Star Trek machine in our hospital. And some students know my trading card is on there, autographed on the game. And I didn't know what to write, because it's for these young people playing pinball. So I said, stay in school, Andrei Massenkoff. I mean, you're a teacher after all. I mean, what kind of message do you want to give to kids? But yeah, what was the question again?
Do your students
Yeah, so some of them do, yeah. And sometimes I do lessons with them on the pinball. Most of the time I'm teaching academics, teaching stuff.
We're good.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. I just wanted to tell you, and some of you I don't need to tell you this, but it's like pinball can be so fun to play at absolutely any level. And I want to give you more ways to enjoy the game by knowing more and being able to accomplish more. I don't know, basic thing, pinball, you want to score more points, sure. And when I say accomplishments, a certain kind of accomplishment is accomplishment in a game. So you get to the end of the game, you beat the game like here on Tron. You get to the portal, you escape through the portal. Very hard to do. Like I've done it twice my whole life, and I'm a really strong player. Part of improving is having longer ball times, keeping the ball in play. Your game gets longer, you achieve more, you get more points. You might want to compete. There are multiple tournaments going on here, down on this floor and upstairs. I'm definitely going to give you some skills advice for that. But basically, it's about enjoying the game more. And what you decide to use from today is going to be personal to you. You know, there's some things also I'm going to show you can do instantly. One of the most powerful moves in pinball, I will show you. And you'll be able to, a couple of them, and you'll be able to do them instantly just when you go out to the show floor. And then there are others that might take months and months to perfect. Ones that involve timing or aiming. It's a challenging game, but it's a fun game. There's so much diversity in the game. And as I'll get into, there's diversity from game to game of the same model. For example, we have another Tron game here. You can play differently than this Tron game. And so there's all these adjustments you get to make. And for me, that's part of the joy for you. Find the joy however you'd like. And I'm known for playing my own personal style. And I just want to encourage you to play whatever your style is and take from this class whatever you want to apply it. Again, maybe you want scores. You want to get on a high score list, put your initials in on a game, competitions, unlocking and playing features in the game. Tron is amazing. Sea simulation, for example, or rooting. When you get the mirror, you get all the awards in the mirror on the Funhouse game. And just the joy of playing, hitting shots, keeping the ball in play. Making things happen, because these games react, and they give you the great feedback with the lights and the sounds. Even the old-timey ones can give you some great sounds and feelings. But if there is time today, also I'll take your questions at the end, particularly about any skills I didn't cover, but I hope to cover them completely. I'll be talking pretty fast. Also specific strategies for specific games or competition advice before the next seminar comes in, about an hour. But almost all the things I'm covering today are covered in an older video, Pinball 101, a video made by the greatest pinball player ever. But there's a much more modern series, and they're working on making it like a full-length instructional video, but right now they're shorter videos. Easy to remember, Abe, as in Abe Lincoln, flips. Abe flips. And so those are excellent videos. And again, what I cover, there are no secrets here. There's nothing here that a pro wouldn't know. But I don't know, Abe flips very conscientious with the instruction. Plus, if you like your pinball instruction in German, you can get it both ways with Abe flips. So anyway, today also I'll be pointing to places on this game, but referring to games you may or may not be familiar with, just as examples. And I'll be referring to games that aren't here as well. But I'll try to point to those spots, especially for those of you who know the games I refer to. I'll cite them as examples. So this is it. How do you approach pinball? 3 important things. Number 1, know the rules of the game. Know what to go for. You get to make a decision what you go for, but you got to know which shots do what. So if you're playing any Tron, how do you get 2 balls or 3 balls at once with multi-ball? Number 2, know the specific model of the game you're playing. So there are multiple copies of Godzilla in the show, and each Godzilla is going to play differently. and the way the ball moves, and the way you have to aim, and the timing, and how much you can shake it, and the way balls come out of the scoop, the kick out, it will vary on every single game. So you might know Godzilla. You might actually have a Godzilla at home and you play Godzilla here. You might do terrible because you're so used to yours. And so that's part of the pinball. Know the specific one you're playing beyond its rule. And the most important thing, know yourself. Know your goals, know why you're playing, be yourself. And again, that's, you know, I play my way, and it's actually, I'm an out-of-control player, and the best players in the world are very controlled. And I'm going to show you how they control the ball, but I don't. You got to follow your heart, you know, and you get whatever you want out of pinball. Just a good time today. The basics right here. I mean, this is a beginner thing. We always got to say to beginners, you don't hit both flippers at the same time. You guys can see me there, right? All right. The problem is sometimes when you do that, a ball is going to hit off the bottom of the unnecessarily flipper. There is an exception later. For saving the ball, you will hit both flippers at the same time to save the ball going down the middle. But it's very rare, so try to keep it one at a time. And then the other thing is, you generally are going to be shooting for lit or flashing shots. There are some exceptions where you hit a shot over and over and then it becomes lit, but generally when you hit flashing shots, flashing lights, that's where it's at. And then this is a very common thing. Some players do keep their hands farther from the flippers, and they'll drop their hands and move them away from the machine. I see a lot of people either A, do too much of this. If you're doing this with your hands and you're not too close to the flippers, you're making kind of more opportunity for error as far as your timing, which is critical. If you just have your flipper here and you're pressing it, you'll have an instant reaction. If you're doing this, it looks cool, it feels good, a lot of people do it. It's going to limit your accuracy and your timing. There's a great player from Hungary, Christian Slazai. I believe he won the European Championship. And he plays with flair, and his hands are moving, he's fun to watch. And he's so good it doesn't matter. But my recommendation is keep those hands and fingers close, but which also not be heavy-handed. These are the things I see most commonly where you hold down the flipper too long or hit the flipper button too hard. You don't need to hit it hard unless you feel like hitting it hard. It's not going to make the ball travel too much faster by slamming the flipper button. But just a lightness on the flippers is helpful too, especially when you have multiple balls, because you got to flip, 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 flip. Those are the basics. So now I'm going to show you the most basic thing in pinball, and it's just holding the ball. And sometimes you could just do it with an outstretched flipper. Now this is the number one. I just stop the ball. I'm in total control. I can stop and I can think, what am I going to shoot at? Also, this will figure into aiming, but this is what all the pros do. They will control the ball. And there are a lot of things I can do. I can pass the ball. I can hit these shots. So this is the most basic position, the catch. And sometimes, like on an older, like 1990s Gottlieb pinball game, a ball will be coming down the lane, and all you got to do is hold the flipper and you'll stop it dead. You don't have to do any special moves. It's just the way the angles are. So that's like the first position. I think in ballet there's a first position you start with. That's the first position in pinball, just the track. Now I want to talk about the aiming. So I'm going to start from a track. Aiming it works like this. And again, for some of these people who play, this is obvious, but basically it's like baseball. A baseball hitter may pull or kind of hit a ball earlier and pull it to their left, and that would be the equivalent of, say, a backhand shot. And then this would be the most natural way to shoot this ball. The flipper's angled towards that ramp, and it's all about how far the ball rolls down the flipper. If it's deeper near the end of the flipper, it's going to go there. If it's up here, I can actually hit this target. I can hit this whole range of targets. And again, the farther down it goes, the more it goes the other way, as someone might say in baseball. And then the farther up it is, the more you pull it. And this is really important for aiming and also trapping, because if you trap the speed the ball is moving will always be the same from a trap. So your aiming is going to be better and more consistent because the position on the flipper to hit a given shot will always be the same off a trap. When the ball's flying around, when it's spinning, when it's coming down a lane like this, there's no guarantee for that. So it's like hitting a baseball off a tee. Much easier than hitting a baseball being pitched at you. So the trap is a good place to start. And again, you might not be comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable with that. I don't trap a lot. But you'll get more accuracy, you'll get more consistency from that. And when you're trapped, you can look at where you want to shoot. And I just want to give some examples about aiming. For example, this recognizer, I can hit it with this right flipper, with the backhand, or the left flipper, with the forehand. Ooh. Not every shot in every game allows you to do that. I want to tell you that backhands, instead of like the full-on shot that is at the natural angle, this would be the natural angle from here, this would be the natural angle from here. A backhand would be something from this flipper here. Very oftentimes those are much safer because there's less power on the ball and you're shooting the ball up and straight versus side to side. So certain shots are better for backhands. This one doesn't have a ton of good backhandable shots. But Monster Bash, if those of you know it, the Monsters are playing music. Frankenstein, way better to backhand because of safety. Or on the Mandalorian game. For aiming's sake, it's so much easier on the Mandalorian game to hit the right ramp from backhand. And so there's a big difference. You decide whether you forehand or backhand. Remember, it's all about how far it goes down the flipper. In 1 millimeter's difference, it's going to be the difference between you hitting the shot and missing the shot. Sometimes, too, with aiming, there's a better shot. There's a center shot on Ironman that you can hit from both flippers, just like this. And it's much easier to hit the center spinner on Ironman from the right flipper instead of the left. And we will get into passing in just a second. How would you get a ball from the right to the left? Once in a while, too, if you aim too well, it actually hurts you. There's certain games like Demolition Man. It's down here in the women's tournament. Sometimes if you shoot the multi-ball start loop, if you hit it too perfectly, it bounces out. So sometimes you can get in trouble with shots that are too good, and you might want to miss them a little so they don't bounce out. This is high-level stuff. Remember, I'm giving you the whole range. Also on Spider-Man, Dr. Octopus is there. And sometimes if you hit them too well, especially with the forehand, the ball will just shoot out. And you get nothing out of it because your shot was too good. Also these games too, they can be hard to hit if they have protectors, metal protectors protecting the wood. But here we go to passing. Passing, there's so many fun skills, and this is the number one of the most powerful skills and the easiest one. Tom, can you help me out? Do you know what I'd like you to do? I'm going to show you the first pass. You can try this right away when you start playing games and show. Can you just try to roll something from that angle towards mid-flipper? Watch this, everybody. I just did it by not flipping. It's called a dead pass. You don't do a darn thing. This is a powerful move. Wherever you are. And so, this is a powerful move. It just comes in, and you just let it go. Yeah, if you go across, it's especially good. That's a dangerous part right there, where it hits the metal. But basically, if the ball, especially when it's traveling across the game, this direction to the opposite flipper across the center, just do nothing, like this. And it'll go to the other side. And when it goes to the other side, you can get under control with a trap, or you can shoot it, whatever you'd like. That is a dead pass, you all can do it. Just don't flip. It takes a while to get comfortable with it, but it's very useful and it's very helpful. Thank you. There are some fancier ways to dead pass, and I'm just going to say these are ones you don't see as much. You can actually dead pass from an uplifted flipper. So there might be a time where the ball's coming this way, and I have the flipper up, staying up. I'm not flipping at it, and it'll bounce to the other side. And then the other less common way to get a dead pass. Like I said, it's the easiest thing to do when it's coming across the game, but there are times where a dead pass, like when it comes out of this nasty, fast kick out, will go to the other side. And let's see, sometimes it'll double dead pass back to this flipper. Let's watch it come out. Dead pass, double dead pass. That didn't get the ball to the other side, but it got it under control from a nasty, nasty fast kick out. So sometimes it's not even from across the game. The one thing I want to talk about is, yes, sometimes like an attack from Mars or here. You saw the ball hit here. You will not get a dead pass from here. You'll get it from here. And some games, you got to know the game you're playing. There's one in my home court in San Francisco where the left flipper on Harlem Globetrotters, you can't dead pass. Because the flipper has give, it'll go down the middle. So you can't do it on every game. You can do it on a heck of a lot. Definitely try it. It does take a while to get comfortable with that. This is kind of the opposite of the dead pass. I said the dead pass tends to be going across the game like this. Usually from something coming from the same side along the angle like this of the flipper. And the best examples I have, if you know Theater of Magic and Creature from the Black Lagoon, you get these beautiful feeds here. And this is called the live catch. And basically the live catch is the opposite of the drop catch I'll show you in a moment. The live catch, basically you have the ball meet the flipper, and the flipper hits its apex. This is a tough one. The nice thing about this one is it's safe. If you screw up, you're just going to be hitting the ball somewhere you don't want to. But as the ball's coming out, you lift it, and that moment where it's coming out and hitting your flipper, I feel like maybe it works because the flipper goes up, and then there's a little bit of recoil after it comes up, and it catches it. But you keep the flipper up. This is not an easy one to execute, and your rubbers on your game and your angle and everything have to be just right. But I'm going to try to catch it on the tip there. And so that was not a live catch. A beautiful live catch, the ball would just get stunned there. Try it this way. And again, I didn't stun it. These rubbers are on the harder side. But it's, again, you can see it demonstrated on Ape Clips or Pinball 101. The other thing is if you can't live catch, something like what I was doing with the failed live catches is it can go to a lane or up against the face of a slingshot there. Come back around. So I'll try one more live catch. Again, every game's different. A beautiful live catch, like on Creature from the Black Lagoon and Theater Magic. When it comes out the loop, it will stop the ball dead, put you in total control. Creature of the Black Lagoon, all you gotta do is shoot the center. All day, live catch. Shoot the center. All day, live catch. On Theater Magic, all you gotta do is shoot the left loop. Boring strategies, but those are actually the best, safest ones if you can catch it. That's a live catch. This is a fun one. And this is a great way to get a ball from one side to the other. Ski pass, watch this. I'm just holding up the flipper. It got to the other side. Again, I hit the ramp, or I try to hit the ramp. Here we go. And now it's the other side. The only problem is it's a little too slow coming from there. Let's try it off this ramp, see if it'll carry. And then I got myself to another shot, Let's do it again, ski jump. Wow, all you gotta do is hold up the flipper, let it pass right over, and it's like a ski jump. Here's the problem though, some games, just like a dead pass will not work on some games, a ski jump. Sometimes the ball moves too slow to get all the way across, and there's another kind of pass that helps you address that, and it's called a tip pass. As you're getting a too slow ski jump pass, what you do is, the ball's rolling here, you know it's too slow, and then you do a little, it's very hard to see, a little bit of a micro flip to toss it the rest of the way a little better. This ski jump's decent, it gets to here, but I prefer to get it deeper into the flipper there for a trap or for a better shot versus the tip. So this will be a ski jump, but because it's slow, I'm going to tap the flipper a little, still holding it up, and get it over the other side. So that pushed it forward a little. Let's do it again. Well, too slow, way too slow. And let's try it from this side on the slow side. And that was a full flip. That was it. I actually moved it a little bit. And then again, the timing's tricky and it's hard to demonstrate. Too slow, you pop it again. And it should roll the other way with the right kind of angling and flipping. I'll try one more from here. Some things I won't be able to demonstrate on this game, too, just because the live cat's tricky with the rubbers. The next thing I want to tell you about is called the tap pass. You can't do it very easily on a modern game, but it's also called Bally tap pass. It works very well in the Bally games, which you'll find the older type Bally game. The tap pass is basically a matter of actuating the flipper very gently, just by barely tapping it, and the ball will gently jump over from one side to the other. This is so hard to get just right. We got a guy in the tournament, Nick Stein, he's the master of tap passes. He could tap pass on this. He was second in the California State Championship, made the finals of the World Championships in January. But a tap pass, basically you're tapping the flipper and barely actuating it, and it'll flip over the other side. Again, on older Bally games, ones without screens, it works exceptionally well. I'm going to try to tap here, even though I might not be able to. It's just, these modern flippers are just too powerful to do it. But again, Abe Flips will show you what it looked like. The tap pass, I want to show you all the possible things that you can do. And that's not one you can do on this game. Here's what you can do on so many games, and I love it so much. The post pass. Again, you might want to be on this flipper to get into this hole, to get the Flynn's Arcade or start a multi-ball. And again, some of you may know this. I need to get it on this side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flick the ball from here up into the post, keep this up, this flipper up, and it'll roll over nicely to here. This is not dangerous. There might be some games where the angling of the post, like Attack from Mars or Marvel Avengers Infinity Quest, where you can't post pass. Godzilla, it's kind of hard. But this one you can. Here we go. Flip up. And again, some sides on some games will work better than others. This one I don't know if I could post pass. I can. And then I get into a trap. And again, post pass. Watch the action of me flinging it up into there. And I'm back on the other side. There are a lot of reasons why you'd want to post pass. And I'll just try to do a few back and forth. Oh boy, that was another move. That is the alley pass. And that can be a very powerful move. But a dangerous one. This is a more dangerous move. But again, post pass, you can do this easily on some games. Some won't let you do it. I do a post pass to the trap. I really want to focus on this one, because this is one you can do right away. The trapping maybe, and the timing and the speed might be harder. But the alley pass is amazing. Also known as Shotzing. Neil Scott's one of the greatest pinball players ever from the Bay Area. And they named the move after him because he's so good at it. It's also called the alley pass. This one involves, I know this sounds crazy, I want to get it to this side. On this game, I can post pass, it's fine. But on a game you can't post pass, I'm going to fire it up here. Now the danger of this is if you're a little too late, you're firing it down there into the hole. And basically you're firing up this lane by shooting it as late as possible. And the reason I'm missing is I'm being careful. I'd rather miss by being too early than miss by being too late. But this is a useful move on some games, like for example, high speed or the getaway, to hit the lanes. High speed, it'll like the spinner. And I think it'll like the kickback as well. There's so many games where it's helpful, like Alien Star. You want to shoot it up the lane, and it's really hard for you to get lucky for the ball to go down the right lane on the game Alien Star. So the best thing you can do is alley pass. Again, it's dangerous, it's fun. The other thing is, dangerous things can be fun. You might also, you saw on some of my alley passes, it got out of there very quickly. After you've alley passed, you might need to hit the other flipper just to kind of slow it down and keep it from firing back. Like that. So I did alley pass, but you want more of an alley, because what I did was too fast and out of control. I got it there, but it didn't stay there. But it's all about the last possible moment. That's a full alley pass right there. It went up one and the other. So that's an alley pass. And again, most helpful when you cannot post pass, like on the game Wizard, it's really hard to post pass. So alley passing on Wizard from left to right is what you do. You fire it, and then you hold up the flipper so the ball doesn't escape you. You can also do a post catch, and this is great on Spider-Man or Stranger Things. As the ball's coming down the lane, you fling the ball into the post, and it can stop the ball dead. On Spider-Man, you do this so then you can keep hitting Doc Ock with a backhand. You hit Doc Ock with the backhand, you get it back. So I'm going to try that. I don't think the angling's good, but what you're doing, and I'm sorry I'm demonstrating things I can't do on this game, although there are a lot of things you're going to see that I can. You're throwing it into the post and flinging it up there to try to stop it dead. I just want to see if this angle will work. I doubt it will. Yeah. So these posts are too far out to make that happen, but there's post catch as well on the rolling ball. And sometimes if you try to do a post catch, it will turn into a post pass, which is fine. You won't have it on that flipper that you started the move on, but at least you'll have it on a flipper. There are two things. There's a loop pass. I think Iron Man and Attack from Mars are really good to do. The Pinball 101 video of the loop pass is good. I'm going to try to do it here, but it's a matter of a ball coming around a loop, and then as it's coming, you drop it with perfect timing, and it comes over the other side. It's usually off a fast-moving loop. Yeah, this one doesn't have the speed. I'll try to fire it here. And then again, loop pass, you gotta look it up. Iron Man, Attack from Mars are very loop passable, ones with big outside loops. I'm gonna start demonstrating stuff I can actually do on this game in a minute. But loop pass is another one. Now we're gonna get interesting. All right, let's say you're on this right flipper and you want to shoot it in there and you can't execute a pass. If you can't pass, one thing you can do, this is a good example of a game you do it. You roll the ball up here, and then it comes to the tip, and from the tip you can hit it. I can't hit it from here. And again, every game's different, but you tap it a little, and then it comes out. And then you backhand. Here it is. That's done. So if you can't pass, you can do this. Games this works very well on. Black Pyramid. I'm going to try it this way, try to hit the Tron targets. So again, you roll it out to the tip and fire it. I think it works really good on the right loop of AC/DC, which is hard to hit. The other places where it would be helpful is certain games where you shoot a ball under the flipper, like Star Trek Stern, you shoot a ball under the flipper, or Wizard of Oz, you shoot a ball under the flipper, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you shoot a ball under the flipper. And again, instead of shooting it directly, you can backhand it from the tip, but you do have to roll it up a little this way. The number one shot I think this is good for, if you know 8-Ball Deluxe, it's in the Classics tournament. You roll it up this way, and then you backhand the 8-ball. Much easier and safer, in my opinion, than actually firing at the 8-ball here. And again, you roll it up, which allows you to backhand. And when I say you roll it up, using your flipper. And then it gives you this option. I hit it so early that I actually hit that target instead of the hole. The other thing, let's do something with 2 balls. This is where the fun is. For me in pinball. And it's actually another kind of way to use a ball for leverage for a backhand. All right. Multi-ball. And we'll get into multi-ball. But I'm going to show you one more backhand move with multi-ball. Again, very helpful in the circumstances I mentioned, like shooting a ball under the flipper, on Rush, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, over here, Star Trek. When you have 2 balls, Cradle, you can shoot this with a backhand now, because you actually have the angle, because the other ball is pushing it up. And this will help you too. Oh, Spider-Man, Spidey Sense shot is so hard up above the lane, if you know it. This is probably the best way and the easiest way to get the Spidey Sense shot. Bram Stoker's Dracula. I won a tournament game doing this and backhanding into the coffin on Dracula. So this will help you shoot it more. in that direction, just having another ball there. But how do you get two balls on one flipper? How do you control two balls? And this is what the pros are all about. And I know these things, but I don't do it. Yeah, the professionals really like control. So when they're playing multi-ball, a lot of times they will hold one ball and just hit shots with the other ball. How do you hold one ball? Let me get again, I'm not a control guy, but I do know how to do this. Maybe you can help me out in a second. So one thing the pros are going to do is trap balls while they're playing multi-ball. So they have one free and the rest are safe on a flipper. All right, Tom, thanks for helping. I mean, I'm going to show you different things. Let's just start with just play with two balls. One, I get to shoot this ramp over and over again safely while the other one's safe. And if I get into trouble, then I can start using this other one. So that's what a pro will do. Thanks. You go on the right. Thank you. Now I'm going to tell you a super secret thing. And this might be the most amazing magic trick that there is in pinball in my talk. What a pro would do in this situation, in this multi-ball, actually in the light cycle multi-ball. Let's bring light cycle up. I'm going to set up and show you the jackpots and how they go about getting them. A pro, oh yeah, thank you, and you go on the right. A pro will hold two balls, even three balls on one flipper. So right now we're looking at the yellow shots, the light cycle. The green flashing shots is another multi-ball because I actually have two multi-balls going at the same time because I cheated. And so basically I hit that left ramp that's yellow, which is followed by after you hit that left ramp, the next thing you hit is this. You see how it's lit? Thanks, Tom. Can you place it? The only problem is, after I hit that spinner, that green spinner, here, thank you. When I hit this spinner, the next jackpot's here, but I have a problem because I have balls trapped here. So this is the ultimate magic trick. If there was only some way I could just flip that flipper and not these that have the balls trapped. What? Wait. Do you see that? It's moving by itself, but this one's not moving. This is called tube staging, and this is something you can do on just about any game with an upper flipper, even older ones. There are a few exceptions. This allows you to hold these balls and shoot this flipper up and down. How am I doing this? I'm letting go of the button halfway or part way until it goes down. And so let's say I'm shooting this for a jackpot and this for the super bang. I can do it without disturbing my safe balls. It's amazing to see pros do this. Tron is an excellent example for this, and this is called tube staging. Try it on any game with an upper flipper in the show, and it's just release it a little. Again, the circumstance where it's helpful. This is a very high skill maneuver. And so you've got to be an amazing player to pull it off. Let me try one. It's so hard to get it right without releasing those balls, but you can see there's a mechanism for it. Now, sometimes you got a problem. If you want to mess around with one ball and then leave two on a flipper, you have to do what's called a cradle separation. And what that is getting one ball away and then keeping the other two. How do you do that? The simplest way I know of is you flick it up, just upwards, and then hopefully it comes down, bounce to the other side. You got to keep these on this side, but you got to break one out, start doing something with it. That's one way off there. I got it to the other flipper, I can play with it now. And again, this is the most common cradle separation. Throw it up against the face of the slingshot, bounces over, because you can't shoot both balls. And let me do it off this side, it might be more likely. Again, the angle's different on every team. And these are powerful flippers. Here, this should work. I'm on the other side, now I can play with this other ball. Hey, what if I want them back together? Post pass. Let's see if I can do that same thing again. Cradle separation. But, the one I'm going to show you next, this is a real show-off thing. I don't do it to show off, except for at the top, and to show you how to do it. I can do something with these two balls, besides the cradle separation, to hit this shot and still leave one ball there. It's called the up and over. I'm going to toss this ball up in the air, like a juggler. While it's up in the air, I'm going to shoot the ramp, and my hope is the one that I threw up in the air will come right back. Are you ready? One ball goes up, one ball gets shot. Hopefully they end up right here again, or in a safe position. Now I got to go up and over a little more like this. I need more power. See, this is the adjustment you got to make to every game. You got to figure out like how strong you need to be. Let's try it again. I'd love to do it and make the shot and get the balls back on the flipper. So that's the up and over. My balls are back where they were. I could do that all day if I practiced it. There it is again. Isn't that fun? You can do that. It takes some time and aiming. And you got to get the hardest part for me personally is getting the power right as far as how much to flick it. Wow, that's a great trick. There's another multi-ball thing that also is something of a pass. Again, I'm showing you the highest level stuff the pros do, and some are easier than others. This one's called Newton's cradle. You ever see Newton's balls on the desk? And it's like silver balls, and then one kind of swings and whacks a bunch of balls in the middle, and then the other ball comes out, and then, you know, the energy transfers. Well, this is called Newton's cradle because it's kind of that same idea that Neil Schatz, one of the Bay Area's best players, I saw him do this so beautifully during a multi-ball, and he just hit endless jackpots by doing it. I just got to set up the multi-ball and also get myself a third ball. This will work if a game is fast enough. Hey Tom, thanks for coming. Okay. Can you put that here? So this is something, let's pretend I'm playing whitewater, and I want to use the, on whitewater, a jackpot shot will come here, and then hit these balls. And so if I'm playing whitewater, a thing I'd want to do is shoot a shot that feeds here. And after shooting a shot that feeds here, this is Newton's cradle. It's that effect of those bouncing balls that you might see on a desk somewhere hanging from strings. This ball, after hitting a jackpot, will pop these balls, and ideally, if the game is waxed enough, come to this side, and then you repeat it again. Again, whitewater, you shoot it here, and then come here. So I'm just going to show you the effect of Newton's cradle. It depends on the game you're playing. So it wasn't as huge as I had suspected. And I think it'll be even harder to do this way with one ball. But on a fast game, if you have multiple balls on the flipper, Newton's cradle might work. And I'm going to try it from the other direction. Again, the side of the game is different. So again, the ideal is you hit a shot, and then it whacks one ball over to the other side. I'm going to demonstrate just by forcing it, okay? Imagine a full speed ball coming here. And that was still full speed, it knocked the other ball out. But this is Newton's cradle, and again, let's push one over, and then you could keep repeating a shot maybe on a certain game. I use Newton's cradle. If this was faster, this would come out enough for another Newton's cradle. There's so many things. As far as catches, the drop catch. That's an important one. In the Pinball 101 video, they say it's maybe one of the most important skills. When I was covering live catch, this would be the opposite of live catch, where you fling the ball up and kind of meet it at the apex, and it tends to stun it. This is the opposite. I want you to imagine you're doing an Easter egg toss. Tossing an egg back and forth. When you're catching the egg, you don't just catch it like this. There's some give. You got to kind of go with the egg and the gravity to kind of quickly bring it in. And that's what this drop catch is. It's like the opposite. The live catch, which is harder to get the timing of, is throwing the flipper up as it's coming in. The live catch is dropping it as it's coming in at a perfect timing to stop it. And yeah, if you could feed me, these are hard to feed. But what I'm going to try to do, as Tom feeds it, is as the ball comes in, I'm going to try to drop it, and it should stop the ball dead if I get the timing right, or roll up a little here. This is an amazing control play, and again, easier on some games and harder. So again, I got some hard black flipper rubber, so it bounced a little, but I did the right thing. I did slow it down, and I gave myself a shot. 3, 2, 1. So that's it. It's a drop catch. You drop as it comes in. Of course, you can just flip when it comes in. Thank you.
Yep.
But when you flip when it comes in, there's an upraised post pass. When you flip when it comes in, you're jumping up. Although I'm a chaotic player, I actually drop catch a lot, because that'll slow down the ball and then give me the opportunity to shoot at whatever I want to shoot. I just want to take you through a few moves right now. Reminders: post pass, alley pass, just the regular catch. There's the live catch, which is hard to do on these rubbers, but where you raise it. And then, Tom, you want to feed me one more drop catch coming across the game. I'm going to say, coming to this flipper, a live catch would be better from this angle, the same side of the game, and then a drop catch. And you can run me a drop this way, going this way. A drop catch is best when it's coming across the game, just like a dead pass is.
3, 2, 1.
The hardest thing to do, man, is to feed a ball to a flipper with your hand. It's easier to flip it, you know? It's crazy, so thank you for doing that. So again, the drop catch coming in. That was a good drop catch. And then the timing is key. There's so many darn things I got on this list. What time is it, Scott?
It is 10:49.
Okay, we're doing great, though. Live catch, post catch, cradle. Oh yeah, for multi-ball, I'm showing you tricks, like things you can do with the flippers, but I want to give you a little bit of advice. When you're in multi-ball, you need to keep your eyes on the flippers. Don't worry about your score if you want those balls to go in good places. The screen is going to be doing its most amazing things during multi-ball. It's not time for you to watch it. If you're with someone, entertain them with whatever's going on the screen. But your focus needs to be here, just on A, keeping the balls alive, and aiming. This isn't 100% true for games like Tron, and quite a few with an upper flipper, like Funhouse. The upper flipper's key. So there are times, and these are the beautiful challenges of multi-ball on a game with upper flippers. You have to keep them alive down here, you have to shoot shots from here, and you do need to look at the upper flipper, because very often, like on Whirlwind or Funhouse, the jackpot is up here, but in the end, keep them going, eyes on the flippers, nice head fingers, no heavy-handedness. I'm getting really crazy here with this. This is something I learned last summer at the World Championships in Germany. The world #1 at the time told me something just about aiming better. You know about the two-staging now. I release the flipper a little. Okay. So the way these flippers work is you push the flipper down a certain amount. It's going to engage the bottom flipper. And you push it down a little further, it's going to engage the upper flipper. And then again, you can take advantage of that and two-stage. So this Escher Levkov multi-world champion, young man, 20, 21 years old, he said, because there's extra time and space when you push the flipper, first it actuates and hits the switch for this, then this, you're actually losing some accuracy because it hits one switch, then the other. So let's say you're playing a game and you want to repeat a shot. Any game with a side ramp that's repeatable. For example, Elton John. For example, Stern Star Trek. A loop shot that repeats like Iron Maiden. Esther told me, you're going to get more accuracy, and this is just with one ball, if you two-stage the upper flipper, because there's less time between your button press and the flipper being actuated. Jurassic Park loop is another one. I don't do this. It takes practice and getting used to. But this will make you more successful and slightly quicker, and it'll make the difference, especially on a game that's hard to hit the loop. I was playing Esther in the World Championships 2020, and he hit the Jurassic Park upper loop 3 or 4 times in a row. You know, and first off, he's good, but secondly, he might have been using that trick. But anyway, that's super high level stuff. A lot of people I know in tournaments don't do that or know about it. I personally know about it. I haven't learned how to do it in a year. So what's the big thing? You got to keep the ball in play. Number one question, I think. How do you save the ball? When it's going down the side, going down the middle. When it's going down the center, you have 2 options. If you think it's going straight down the center, hit both flippers. When you're hitting them, the space becomes much smaller there, and you see how little space there is when you're flipping? And there's the movement upwards. So if it's going down the center, that's what you do. Sometimes you can't do a darn thing. It's going so down the center and so quickly. So the next tier of that is, it's going down the center, you've got to hit both flippers, but it's slightly going towards one flipper or another. So what I'd be doing here, if the ball's going down the center but slightly left, yes, I hit both flippers, but I'm going to hit this one a split second before the other. Pop, pop. This one gets hit, then this one gets hit a split second later. So the initial hit will get the ball moving, but that won't be enough to save it, and then the second hit will follow up. So I'm just going to demonstrate with my hands up here. So instead of flipping both at the same time, straight down the middle, if it's going a little closer to this flipper, I actuate it, and then the other one a split second later. Again, this will kind of get it moving towards the center, and then this will hopefully save it. Here's another level. We're going to talk about nudging. You can shake the game, it's ethical. Don't abuse the game, don't tilt the game because you lose your ball, but shaking's part of the game. And you get warnings for shaking, and you tilt it, and you lose your ball, and you lose your end of ball bonus. A game is less likely to tilt and to sense a tilt with quick jolts. Watch this. I'm going to swing it a little. This is not helpful. Yes, it'll move the game around and save a ball, but danger, warning. There's side-to-side big long moves. But quick things, there's a lot of this, and I always, if a ball's going towards the outside, I'll talk about it a little more, you just pop it forward and try to get it out of that area. But the reason I'm bringing this up right now about the nudging is a quick slap will not affect the game. So I told you, you flip one then the other if it's going towards here. Well, if it's really close to going down the middle, this is called the slap save. And you slap as you flip. Then you actuate the other flipper. So again, the slap is pushing the flipper under the ball. And then again, you do that if you have to. I got no warnings from the slap. Well, I did. That was a hard slap. But I still haven't tilted. I hit it pretty darn hard. But the quick jolts, again, if it's coming more towards this, regular 2 flipper save won't work, or the 1-2, the quick one after the other won't work. Slap one on the other, slap. But sometimes if your slap save is good enough, you don't even need the other flipper. And that's the other thing I learned a few years back. If you can do a single flipper save, do it. It's safer. The ball tends to go on a single flipper save, maybe somewhere around here. When you have 2 flippers, you're making the ball travel a little more chaotically and faster. With the force 2 flippers, it's going to come back at you faster. If you can do a 1 flipper save, do it. You can do a 1 flipper slap save as well, if possible. There's another thing that will happen. These are not your friends on any game, the slingshot. They are aimed to go to the outside or that outside area. And so how do you get around that? Sometimes the slingshots you're playing are actually angled in a safe way, and maybe they go there. If they're not angled in a safe way and they're going down here, like you don't like, and a common thing is it'll hit one, then the other, and it's like ping pong, and then it'll go out. I had mentioned this, nudging forward. As a ball is hitting a slingshot, you can nudge forward And instead of the slingshot firing here, that little nudge forward as it's hitting will actually direct it farther up high. Oh, tilt. Oh. You got that on camera? Oh. And the key, by the way, in the game is to like shake it to the point where there's a tilt, but don't go over that line of the tilt. And that's the number one thing when players warm up in a tournament. They got 30 seconds on the game. What do they test? Yes, they find the shots, but also they find the tilts. So again, a nudge forward as it's coming to the slingshot. Tom, you mind feeding the slingshot? Here's a regular slingshot hit. It's going to the sides. It's not cool. I don't want that, right? And again, the timing's got to be right, where I need to nudge it forward.
Oh, that swing?
Yeah, let's try. Where I need to nudge it forward as it's hitting. Do you see where it went there? Up here. Let's try one more.
3, 2, 1.
And that one went down. And that, thank you, Tom. That's my other example of something to do. This is more defensive. When a ball's coming up here on a slingshot, that's danger. It can go to the outsides, the out lanes. When it's coming down here to the lower end of it, there's another kind of danger where it'll sling down and out, or it'll sling quickly to your flipper. So if you can, some of you might do this instinctively or reactively. When a ball's hitting the slingshot at the bottom, there's a good chance it's going to fling down here. And what you do is time a flip upwards to just kind of block that ball from like sliding down as it's coming off of here. So it's like you're kind of trapping the ball as it's coming off the low end of a slingshot. There's some illegal saves too, and I'm not going to demonstrate them because they're illegal. I'm a tournament player. Although the 8 p.m. session with Rick Stetta out there by the registration desk, I mean, they started to make a documentary about Rick Stetta, 3-time world champion, Sunnydale, California. Great guy. First pinball superstar. He was in Sports Illustrated and Smithsonian Magazine, and he is a national treasure. The movie they're going to make about him is called Bang Bang, which is an illegal save after you've lost the ball when it's below the flippers. I will not demonstrate that. Rick might, if you ask him nicely. He would, even if you didn't ask him nicely. He's a very nice guy. There are some illegal saves. And again, 8 p.m. out in front of the showroom. Rick has a very different talk than me. And I used to do talks with him, and they didn't care what I had to say. Like, because he's wonderful. And he just does some things with the flippers that will thrill you, I think. Again, for saves going out, after the ball's gone out, I'm not going to help you with that. Rick might. Ball's going to the side. You want your attitude about balls going to the side. Of course, you want the lanes. But ideally, why don't you have your motivation be remove the ball from the whole in-lane, out-lane zones and into the center of the playfield. And how do you do that? Again, nudge forward as it's coming in. So as it's coming in, I'm popping it as it's hitting the rubber. That was going out. And then I popped it and went rubber to rubber and then out. And you nudge forward. Let me take it a further step, okay? If it's on the right side, if you want to nudge forward and give a little more force to the right, you're pushing this post into the ball to get it out of that zone. You nudge quickly forward and a little to the right, into the direction of the out lane you're avoiding. In a way, you're blocking the out lane by pushing the post into it. Same thing, if you're on this side and you're trying to push it out, you could just pop it forward. Pop.
There you have it.
Now you know how to play pinball.
Yeah.
If you didn't make it to California Extreme.